Most men say they stay for the money. If you're being honest, you stay to protect your identity, not because you're weak, but because the title feels safer than the truth. You call it stability, it's a shield. This isn't laziness. It's negotiation with yourself to avoid exposure. You know the moment. The parking lot pause. 5 quiet minutes before you walk in. That silence charges interest on your future. An invisible tax. Here's the move. In the next 10 minutes, you'll get a clear framework to diagnose the freeze and interrupt it. Not hype, structure. Because staying protected has a cost. Your potential pays rent to fear, and that rent compounds. And here's the part most people miss. You don't fear failing. You fear being seen trying without the armor of your current label. You prefer a stable label over an uncertain truth. That's human. The title becomes a shield, not a path. It covers the questions you don't want to answer. Who are you without the nameplate? Who are you without the company's credibility floating your own? External credibility feeds you, while private self-respect thins out. The applause outside grows. The trust inside shrinks. That trade looks cheap at first, but it isn't. The bill arrives slowly, in energy, in curiosity, in trajectory. The rent you pay shows up as quiet fatigue, not exhaustion, but friction. The interest rate rises when the work asks for more of you than you want to give. You deliver anyway. You get praised anyway. And the gap widens. Here's the belief you need to break. Competence isn't safety. Competence is camouflage when you're misaligned. It lets you hide in plain sight. It earns you cover. It also locks you in. A client wanted respect. He hid inside a prestigious role. The badge did the talking. Over time, he stopped trusting his own word. Tiny delays, tiny renegotiations. He'd say, "I'll start after this quarter," then push the date. If you're being honest, you know that pattern. The real damage wasn't the delay. It was the lost credibility with himself. The invisible tax compounds daily. A quick check, a quick glance, a quick look. You call them harmless. They're withdrawals from the account of identity. Every pause at the office door, every late night scroll to see what everyone else is doing. More rent paid to fear. And here's the part most people get wrong. You don't fear failure. You fear exposure. Failure can be explained. Exposure can't be spun. Exposure shows the gap between your title and your identity. That's the cost of protection. The longer you protect, the more you owe. Success at misaligned work still gives you dopamine. Your nervous system learns, do this, feel safe. The feeling is real. The alignment isn't. You get positive reinforcement for negative alignment. Applause for the wrong role. That's the trap. Think of it like a rental identity. You keep paying monthly for furniture you don't own. It looks good in photos. It isn't yours. Every compliment is a temporary receipt. Every promotion is a lease extension. The more decorated the space, the harder it is to move out. Not because you love it, because you've furnished a life around the label. The freeze loop is predictable. Skill leads to praise. Praise leads to more responsibility. Responsibility, when misaligned, breeds resentment. Resentment pushes you to dig deeper into the skill that buys praise. Deeper entrenchment. The loop tightens. A client lived this. Peak performance reviews. Bonus unlocked. Weekends felt empty. Not dramatic, just gray. He started talking about soul debt. The balance kept rising. He worked harder to outrun the feeling. He couldn't. Not because he lacked will, because the system paid him for the wrong thing. Here's another belief to break. More skills won't fix misalignment. More certificates, more software, more frameworks. That's more rent for the same apartment. The problem isn't capacity. The problem is direction. Reliability beats motivation. Reliability to what? to an identity you're willing to own without the badge. Now here's where it gets interesting. Once you name the trap, you start seeing the negotiations. You say, after work, I'll do my thing. You say, I'll research a little more. You say, this title gives me leverage. Those lines sound rational. They are the script of the trap. Most men try to outwork the loop. They add morning routines on top of misalignment. They double down on pace instead of trajectory. Faster in the wrong direction isn't progress. It's drift with a trophy. So stop asking for more motivation. Ask for a clean ledger. What do you own? What do you rent? What praise do you earn from the wrong audience? When you can answer that, you can begin. Not because it's easy, but because the negotiation finally ends. Here's the move. End 3 negotiations that keep you in drift. Not because you lack drive, but because you keep giving yourself exit ramps that look responsible. Negotiation 1. After work, you tell yourself you'll do the real work after hours. You won't, not because you're weak, but because your nervous system is fried from performance mode. After work is a fog. After work is where promises go to soften. Replace it with protected morning identity work. 30 minutes, before inputs, before news, before messages. Same window every weekday. Not a dream session, a shipping session. One outcome, one output. No bargaining. If you miss it, you don't move it, you lose it. Tomorrow, same time. This isn't punishment, it's clean rules. Reliability over mood. And here's where most people mess up. They push the block around like furniture. They say, just this once. That's how rent rises. Don't move the block. Don't stack extra goals inside it. Don't measure it by how it felt. Measure by, did you ship? Negotiation 2. Research. You call it learning. You call it staying informed. It's delay with a professional face. Cap study. Require output before more input. One source, one pass, then a deliverable. If you can't explain it in a paragraph or produce a draft, you didn't learn. You consumed. A quick check, a quick glance, a quick look. Closed. The rule is simple. No new sources until you ship from the last one. That friction you feel when you cut consumption isn't ignorance. It's withdrawal from wanting certainty before action. Certainty won't arrive. Your draft will. And here's the part that separates busy from reliable. Verbs beat nouns. Which brings us to negotiation 3. Title protection. You defend the label because it keeps you safe at dinner. You say, I'm a director, and the room nods. Strip the label in your own head. Speak in verbs, not nouns. I build, I write, I teach, I analyze. Titles can be taken. Verbs travel. Verbs create proof. When you strip the noun, you force yourself to act. When you defend the noun, you argue about status. And status talk is cotton candy. Sweet, empty. Now here's where it gets interesting. The tiny permission list needs to die. No quick scroll before the block. No quick email before the draft. No quick tweak to the resume before the deliverable. Close all 3. The rule is boring. It's meant to be. Boredom is a signal, not an enemy. It means you're leaving dopamine and choosing reliability. That's identity work. Common mistakes show up fast. Moving the block, stacking outcomes, measuring by mood. Don't. Keep the block fixed. Keep the outcome singular. Measure by binary. Yes or no. Did you ship? Did you keep your word? Quick win. Write a 1-page promise to yourself tonight. Scope it small. Delivery tomorrow before noon. No audience, no praise. Receipt only. You will hate how small it feels. Good. Small is movable. Small is repeatable. Small is how the freeze starts to thaw. A week of kept promises does more than lift your mood. It resets identity, not because you got lucky, but because your nervous system relearns who's in charge. Reliability, not hype. The retention graph of your life flattens. Fewer spikes, fewer crashes, less noise, more signal. Your career stops being a prison and becomes a platform. The work can stay the same while the meaning changes, because now your identity owns the lease, not the company. You use the role for resources, time, and structure. You don't let it use your name for cover. And the late-night LinkedIn scroll loses its grip. When you're producing, you don't need to borrow identity from other people's announcements. Metrics still matter. They just stop being your oxygen. Success becomes a ledger entry, not a lifeline. But even with momentum, there's a quiet saboteur left. Morning, maybe. That soft voice that says, today's an exception. If you can close that door, even gently, you'll feel the relief you've been trying to buy with titles. That's the non-negotiable self. Here's the protocol that turns talk into receipts. 72 hours, not a new life, a test of reliability. Step 1. Choose one outcome you can ship in 48 hours. Not impressive, shippable. Write the receipt in one sentence. By Thursday noon, I will deliver X to Y. If there is no Y, make it yourself. A private folder counts. A draft counts. A prototype counts. The power is the deadline, not the applause. Step 2. Schedule 3 30-minute blocks in the same daily window. Zero drift. Same chair, same time. Close inputs. Device on airplane. Notes open, timer on. When the time ends, stop. Don't chase a high. Don't extend to feel noble. Reliability is built on consistency, not heroics. Step 3. Constrain inputs to one source. One article, one book chapter, one course module. Output before any new consumption. If you get stuck, write the gap. I don't know X yet. Then move. Gaps are placeholders, not stop signs. Avoid 3 things. Adding goals mid-flight, moving times to relieve discomfort, seeking praise to validate the work. Each one is a silent renegotiation that teaches your nervous system you can't be trusted. That's the real damage. Not fatigue. Lost credibility with yourself. Measure by binary delivery. Yes or no. Did you ship? If yes, log it. If no, log it. No drama, just the ledger. 2 deliveries in a row, and you'll feel the noise quiet. You'll hear yourself again, not louder. Clearer. Future pacing matters. Small shipments compound into an identity that doesn't need protection. The badge becomes optional. The title becomes a tool. That's when you stop renting your life to fear. Now, lock it in with a weekly ritual that reviews receipts, not feelings. This isn't about going from stuck to free. It's about going from negotiated to reliable. Not because you found a secret, but because you stopped outsourcing identity to a label. Your challenge is simple. Run the 72-hour protocol this week. No rescheduling. No after work. 3 blocks. 1 outcome. 1 source. Ship once within 48 hours. Then again. Keep the ledger honest. Keep the morning protected. Keep the negotiations closed. If you're being honest, you already know which promise to keep next. The question is whether you'll protect that time when no one is watching. Choose the boring win over the dramatic excuse. If you want to go deeper, the next video breaks long-term freeze patterns and shows how to build a weekly ritual that keeps identity in charge. Click into that when you've shipped your first receipt. Then build the next week on top of it. Here's a question you haven't asked out loud. If your title vanished tomorrow, would your output prove who you are? Keep that running, because the most dangerous negotiation isn't at night. It's the morning, maybe. The quiet, today's different, that resets the trap. There's a reason praise from colleagues feels like anesthesia. It's the loudest sedative Because it funds the identity you rent. We'll name the exact sentence that breaks that spell when we hit the 70% mark. Apathy isn't a flaw. It's a shield your nervous system trusts when your actions and identity don't match. Later, you'll hear the single verb test that makes apathy unnecessary. Each kept promise compounds like interest. Each delay charges rent you don't see. Before we end, you'll get the two-word rule that stops rent today. Once you see the shield, the applause sounds different. It stops feeling like respect. It sounds like permission to drift. And here's where most people mess up. More learning, no shipping. Consumption disguises hesitation. Output exposes it. That exposure is the cure. With negotiations closed, boredom becomes signal, not enemy. It means you're choosing reliability over dopamine. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Verbs beat nouns. I build demands proof. I'm a director demands approval. This next technique separates busy from reliable. Fixed windows, binary receipts. But there's one more trap. The morning maybe. If you kill that, drift dies. Once you nail the 72-hour protocol, everything else clicks. Momentum becomes architecture. The real damage isn't fatigue, it's lost credibility with yourself. Restore that ledger, then protect it.